Okay, so, before I get into this last tune, I'd just like to say thank you very much. As I said, I'm from Austin, Texas, and I moved up here last July and took the job at University of Indianapolis. Some of you may be familiar with Harry Miedema. He was a big name in the jazz scene around here, and he retired, and I came up here, and I used to direct the Jazz Studies program at Texas State University, which is in a town called San Marcos, just a little south of Austin. And, Texas is a big state, and we do a lot of these, and I've probably done somewhere in the vicinity of 30. And I always enjoy working with the high school students. I myself sat in one of those chairs when I was their age and did this sort of thing, and it's a wonderful musical experience. And they get a chance to meet students from other high schools, and oftentimes they get a chance to play with a jazz ensemble that is much better than the jazz ensemble that they play with in their high schools. Sometimes it's not that way, but most of the time it is. And they get to work with somebody like myself or another clinician that is actually a bona fide jazz musician. This is what I do for a living. I play around Indianapolis quite a bit, and I've been doing that since probably I was about 20. And but I was a drum major in high school. I did marching band. I was in the jazz band. I tried out for things like this, and I know that this doesn't just happen in a vacuum. That the students up here on the stage are a product of their hard work. But what we don't talk about a lot is the fact that it's a second job for you out there to make sure that they got the instruments they need, that they're working correctly, that you're encouraging them, that you get up way early in the morning to fix them some meals so they can drag them off to marching band at some ungodly hour, and they work their butts off. And a lot of times your job in this situation goes unsung. And I want to tell you that I very much appreciate your support for your children and grandchildren, and having them, allowing them to participate in music as a part of their life, because I believe that's very important. And I believe it makes them grow up to be amazing people. The experience that they have, putting a band together, acting as a team, working together towards a common goal. And I want to give you a round of applause, give your parents a round of applause, for the hard work that they do. So thank you very much. I appreciate you letting me work with your children. We worked together very hard for 5 hours. They did a lot of work. They were very respectful. They were very attentive. And they did what I asked them to do. And I appreciate that, because after doing 30 of these, sometimes, sadly, that's not always the case. So you guys must be doing something right to produce these fine young ladies and gentlemen up here on the stage, and I appreciate that. So we're going to continue on and close out this concert. And how about a round of applause for the saxophone ensemble? He sounds great, and he's right. That is challenging music, very challenging music. So this last tune, again with the title, it's called Honk, and we like to expose them to different styles. And jazz has many different styles, and rock and funk is one of them. And students seem to really enjoy that because it's a little closer to home for them. And so I think of all the charts, we worked on the others a little bit more than this one, in the sense that they were already familiar with this. And I'm going to invite you to remember the Muppet Show, the original Muppet Show. And they play the theme, and at the end of the theme, the Muppet Show tonight, and then zoot, the jazz saxophone with the hat and the sunglasses and the purple, would honk out a note that obviously was not supposed to be played at the end of the song, and then he would kind of look down at his bell. I don't know how many of you remember that. He'd kind of go, and so this is, I know Jeff Jarvis, and he's a great arranger and a very prolific arranger. He writes great music for this level and above and below as well. And I can only imagine that this was in his mind when he wrote this chart, that last note. So appreciate, because we got our own Zoot up here on the stage, who will reveal himself at the end of the chart. But on this chart, you're going to hear from Ben Magnan on the alto saxophone, Mr. Tyrese Harrington on the lead tenor, and see, I didn't have my notes. And Mr. Ryan Hoots on the electric guitar. So we hope you appreciate this. Thank you, it's been my honor. Thank you, it's been my honor. And we'll finish out this concert. Oh, there's one more thing. Sorry, I talk a lot. Mr. Pete Sampson. I mean, he put all this together. This is basically the product of him and maybe 2 other people's vision. And we're starting this thing, and this is fantastic. This is what I love to see. So let's give Pete a round of applause.